She straightened her blazer, glanced at me like I was in the way, and said, "Brent's taking me to the retreat, and I need you to stay home. If you're there, people will think you're my handler." I nodded once, opened the shared inbox, and started unwinding every promise tied to my name. Hey friends, please subscribe and turn on notifications, like this video, and leave a comment with your impressions. This will be a great help. Thank you. We never tire of reminding you. It's all thanks to you. I'm Calvin, 42, and this happened in Richmond, Virginia, in early November when the mornings feel clean and cold and the leaves stick to your shoes. I work as a maintenance planner for a municipal water treatment facility. My days are schedules, inspections, vendor quotes, and making sure every job has a clear scope and a paper trail. When something is uncertain, I don't guess. I verify and reduce risk. My girlfriend at the time was Maribel, 35. She was a corporate communications manager for a mid-sized engineering firm. Maribel was polished. She could turn a casual conversation into a pitch without anyone noticing. She cared about how things looked, but I used to think that was just professionalism. She told me I balanced her out because I was steady and practical. I believed her. We had been together a little over 3 years and rented a small brick duplex in the museum district. 2 bedrooms, a narrow kitchen, a back patio with an old string of lights. It wasn't a mansion, but it was home. We had real plans, too. I'd put down a deposit on a custom ring setting at a local jeweler because Maribel had shown me what she wanted and said she didn't want anything off the shelf. We had also reserved a small private dining room at a restaurant for a family dinner in December because her dad was coming in from out of state and she wanted both families together. I planned to propose afterward, quietly, without a crowd. We also had a moving company hold for late January because our lease ended then and we had already applied for a townhouse rental closer to her office. And yes, we'd started a joint pre-approval through my credit union because she liked having a plan in motion. It wasn't fantasy. It was contracts and receipts and calendars. The mismatch started with little things that were easy to explain away if you wanted to. Maribel began taking calls in the back patio instead of the living room. She started keeping her phone face down during dinner. If a message came in, her eyes would flick down and her thumb would move fast. Then she'd look up and keep talking like nothing happened. She also started dressing differently for normal days. A quick meeting turned into full makeup. A run to drop something off became a blazer and heels. I told myself she was busy. Her firm had been chasing a new client. Communications people get pulled into everything. It was plausible. Then I saw the first clean receipt, and it came through our shared life, not through any snooping. We had a shared tablet in the kitchen that stayed logged into our household email because we used it for utilities, lease documents, and confirmations. One night, I picked it up to check our renter's insurance renewal, and a notification banner slid across the top. Reservation confirmed. Willow Creek Lodge, 2 nights. The dates were for that coming weekend. We had no weekend trip planned. I tapped it because it was sitting on the screen and I needed to clear it. The email opened to a lodge confirmation about an hour away in the foothills, the kind of place companies rent for leadership retreats. 2 nights. Late checkout requested. And on the line for additional guest, it listed Brent H. My stomach didn't flip in a dramatic way. It went still, because I knew that name. Brent was her ex, not ancient history. She'd mentioned him early in our relationship as someone from my past who's still in my orbit. She said they were friendly because Richmond is small. I didn't love it, but I never told her who she could talk to. Adults can have a past. The present is what matters. The part that tightened my jaw was the payment line. The lodge deposit was charged to my card, the one we used for shared household expenses because I handled most bills and she reimbursed her portion each month. My card, her reservation, her ex. I closed the email, finished what I was doing, and set the tablet down. I didn't confront her right then. I wanted to see what she would choose to tell me on her own. When Maribel got home, I kept my voice normal. "Are you traveling this weekend?" I asked. She paused like she had to select a response. "Why?" "I saw a lodge reservation in the household email," I said calmly. "Willow Creek." Her smile appeared quickly, too quickly. "Oh, that. It's work-related. A leadership retreat." "A retreat you didn't mention," I said. "It came up fast," she replied, and immediately started talking about traffic and dinner plans like she wanted the topic to die. I let it sit, not because I believed her fully, but because I didn't want an argument about tone. I wanted facts. Over the next 2 days, her behavior did not match work retreat. She bought a new outfit and didn't show me. She got her nails done on a Thursday afternoon. She kept stepping outside to text. She started saying little phrases like big weekend and important room while looking at herself in the mirror. Friday night, she laid a small suitcase on the bed and began packing with the careful attention of someone preparing to be seen. She had 2 outfits laid out separately, as if she expected photos. I stood in the doorway and asked, quietly, "Who is Brent on that reservation?" She froze for half a second. Then her eyes narrowed. "Why are you reading my emails?" "It's on the shared tablet," I said. A banner popped up while I was paying our bills. She exhaled like I was slowing her down. "Brent is connected to the retreat. He has a spot, and he invited me." "So you're going with your ex?" I said, keeping it factual. "It's professional," she snapped. "Don't make it gross." "I'm not making it anything," I said. "I'm asking why you didn't tell me and why the deposit hit my card." Her expression hardened, and her voice got clipped the way it did when she wanted control. "I didn't tell you because you'd react," she said. "You'd make it heavy." I kept my tone steady. "If it's professional, why is it 2 nights, and why is it just you and him on the reservation?" She stared at me like I was being unreasonable for asking a basic question in my own relationship. Then she delivered the line that made everything inside me go quiet. "Brent's taking me to the retreat," she said, "and I need you to stay home. If you're there, people will think you're my handler." Handler. Like I was something she needed to hide so she could look available, impressive, untethered. I didn't shout. I didn't call her names. I didn't ask for her phone. I just said, "So you want me invisible?" She rolled her eyes. "You're turning it into a drama." "I'm protecting my image." I nodded once, not agreement, just comprehension. "Okay," I said. "Have a safe weekend." She blinked, suspicious. "That's it. That's it," I replied. Her shoulders relaxed like she'd won. "Good. Thank you." She went back to packing, already smiling at a message on her phone. I walked to the kitchen table, opened my laptop, and did what I do when something becomes an obvious risk. I reduced exposure and documented every step. Because we had commitments in motion, and my name was on the liability. First, the ring deposit. I searched my email for the jeweler and pulled up the receipt. Subject: deposit confirmation, custom setting, order RIV 6027. The policy was clear, refundable within 10 business days as long as production hadn't started. Production started only after final design approval was signed. We hadn't approved anything because Maribel postponed the appointment twice, saying she couldn't decide. We were on day 9. I called the jeweler right when they opened Saturday morning. "Riverside Jewelers, this is Hannah." "Hi," I said. "I need to cancel an order and request the deposit refund. Order RIV 6027. Hannah verified my name and asked if final design approval had been signed. I told her the truth. It had not. "All right," she said. "We can cancel and initiate the refund today. It returns to the original card within 5 to 7 business days. I'll email confirmation." The email arrived while I was still on the phone. Subject: cancellation confirmed. Refund initiated. RIV 6027. Receipt number 1. Second, the private dining room deposit for the December family dinner. We had booked a small room at a restaurant near the river. The contract stated the deposit was refundable if canceled more than 30 days in advance, minus a small administrative fee. We were still well within that window. I emailed them. Subject: cancellation request, private dining reservation, December 7th. I included the booking number and requested written confirmation and the refund timeline. They replied within an hour. Subject: reservation canceled. Refund processing, 7 to 10 business days. Receipt number 2. Third, the townhouse rental application and moving hold. We had a holding deposit down for a townhouse rental starting in February. The property manager had sent the lease draft and a signature deadline. If we didn't sign, the holding deposit would be refunded minus a processing fee. I opened the email thread, read the terms, and emailed a simple withdrawal. Subject: withdrawal, townhouse lease application, February move-in. I requested confirmation of the refund amount and timeline. They replied the same day with a breakdown and a date. Subject: application withdrawn, refund scheduled, processing fee applied. Receipt number 3. Then the moving company hold. We had paid a date hold for late January. Their policy allowed cancellation more than 10 days out with an email confirmation and a credit back to the card minus a scheduling fee. I called, canceled, and asked for the confirmation in writing. Subject: move hold canceled, credit issued, order MV 4481. Receipt number 4. Fourth, the joint pre-approval. Our credit union loan officer had emailed earlier in the week asking for one final authorization and updated employment verification. My documents were already on file. My credit was already involved. I was not continuing a shared financial path with someone asking me to stay home so she could look unattached. I emailed the loan officer. Subject: pause joint pre-approval immediately. Please pause the joint application. No further action or credit activity without my written authorization. The officer replied quickly. Subject: application paused. Confirmed no further action. Receipt number 5. Then I handled our shared savings the right way. We had a joint savings account labeled Next Place. I did not drain it. I did not retaliate. I turned off my automatic transfer and took screenshots of the balance and recent transactions so there would be no argument about what was there. Then I emailed Maribel from my personal email so it was timestamped. Subject: shared savings contributions. I paused my automatic contributions today. We can reconcile and split the balance fairly after refunds and shared bills are finalized. Short, calm, written. Now the lease. Our current lease had 3 months left. Both names. The lease included a tenant release process, but it required the remaining tenant to qualify a loan or provide a replacement. Until then, both tenants remained responsible. I emailed our property manager. Subject: tenant release process / non-renewal notice. I requested the tenant release paperwork and confirmed I would not be signing a renewal under my name. They replied with the form and the standard language. Release requires approval. Both tenants remain liable until processed. Receipt number 6. By Saturday afternoon, the paperwork was in motion. Now I needed a clean exit, not a dramatic one. I found a month-to-month furnished studio through a housing service used by traveling professionals. Deposit paid. Lease in my name. Quiet building. Then I packed. I packed only what was clearly mine. Clothes. Personal documents. My work equipment. Tools and items I owned before we lived together. I left the couch, the TV, the kitchenware, and anything that would turn into a fight. Before I left, I took photos of the duplex condition, floors, walls, appliances, each room, because accusations are common when emotions are high. Photos are quiet truth. On the kitchen counter, I left a single note. Maribel, I moved out today. I will pay my share of rent through the end of the current lease term unless a tenant release is approved. I will not renew. Please communicate by email for lease and financial logistics. No insults. No long speech. Just facts. Maribel left Sunday morning for the retreat. At the door, she said, "Don't make this messy." "I won't," I replied. And I meant it. She came back Monday night. My phone lit up with calls. I let them go to voicemail. Then texts. "What is this note? Where are you? You can't do this." Then an email arrived. Subject: you need to explain. I replied once calmly. Subject: you need to explain. I moved out. I'm not continuing the relationship. Practical matters can be handled by email. That was the first confrontation, quiet and controlled. The second came 2 days later when she showed up outside my workplace. She stood near my car, eyes bright with anger. "You actually left," she said. "Yes," I replied. "Over a retreat," she snapped. Minimization. "It wasn't the retreat," I said. "It was what you said. You told me you needed me hidden." Maribel scoffed. I was stressed. I used the wrong words. Then blame. "You always take things personally. You don't understand my world." I stayed calm. Respect is not a special rule that changes based on your world. Then the insults. "You're rigid. You make everything about policies and rules." I didn't bite. "If it's practical, put it in writing," I said. Her face changed fast, and tears arrived like a new strategy. "I didn't think you'd actually do it," she whispered. "Brent didn't even. The weekend wasn't what I thought." She stopped herself mid-sentence. I didn't ask for details. I didn't need them. The foundation was already gone. "I hope you take care of yourself," I said. "This doesn't continue." She stared at me like she wanted an argument because an argument would keep a connection alive. I gave her none. "I'm going inside," I said. "Please don't come here again." After that, the contact attempts came in waves. First, an unknown number called late at night. The voicemail was her voice, soft and urgent, saying she was scared and needed to talk. I blocked the number. Second, she emailed. Subject, I messed up. It was long, trying to rewrite the handler comment as bad wording, claiming Brent was just a connection, claiming I overreacted. I didn't debate. I set a filter so her messages went into a folder labeled Maribel Records. Third, she tried an intermediary. Her friend from her office messaged me saying Maribel was not doing well and asking if I could at least meet her to talk. I replied once, please don't get involved. Then I ended it. The consequences arrived without me doing anything beyond stepping away. 5 business days after my call, the ring deposit refund hit my bank exactly as the confirmation stated. The restaurant deposit refunded next, minus the administrative fee. The townhouse holding deposit refund processed on the date the property manager gave. The moving company credit posted. I saved every email and every bank notification because clean exits stay clean with documentation. Maribel ran into real life fast. Our property manager emailed both of us about the tenant release. Subject, tenant release, income verification required. Maribel wanted to keep the duplex alone. Her income was good, but part of it was tied to quarterly bonuses. Without my income on the file, management required a higher deposit or a cosigner. She didn't like that. She emailed me asking if I would just stay on the lease until she stabilized. I refused in writing and reminded her I would pay my share through the current lease term because my name was still on it, but I would not extend obligations. Then the social embarrassment arrived, the same thing she was trying to prevent by hiding me. She posted a photo from the retreat weekend. Name badge visible. Smiling in a lobby. Someone commented a joke about Brent. Someone asked where I was. The post disappeared within a day. A mutual acquaintance later mentioned Brent introduced Maribel around when it benefited him and then spent the weekend attached to someone else's circle. Maribel came home with bruised pride and fewer opportunities than she expected. The room didn't save her. It just showed her what she gave up. By spring, she had moved into a smaller apartment with a roommate because she couldn't keep the duplex alone without stress. That wasn't revenge. That was math. As for me, I stayed quiet and rebuilt my life the same way I run my work, steady and documented. I paid my portion until the lease ended. I transferred utilities out of my name when the move-out was confirmed. I kept my routine. Work, sleep, simple meals, walks when I needed to clear my head. A few months later, in late summer, I was doing fine. I stopped at a community blood drive hosted in a church gym on the other side of town. A folding table, clipboards, cookies afterward. I like small acts that don't require speeches. I was filling out a form when I heard my name. Calvin. I looked up and saw Maribel standing near the check-in table. She looked different, less polished, more tired. Like reality had taken the shine off the retreat fantasy. She approached slowly. I didn't know you'd be here. I donate when I can, I said. Can we talk? She asked. Just for a minute. I can listen briefly, I replied, but I'm not reopening anything. Her eyes filled. I'm sorry, she said. I wanted to look independent. I wanted to look impressive. And I treated you like something to hide. I nodded once. That's what happened. She swallowed. I didn't think you'd leave. I believed what you said, I replied. And I chose peace. Maribel looked down at the floor, then back up. Is there any chance? I shook my head once. No. I wish you well, but I'm not available anymore. She nodded slowly, like she was finally accepting that calm decisions still count. I hope you're okay, she whispered. I am, I said. Please take care of yourself. If someone told you to stay home so they could look unattached for a weekend, what would you do? Tell me in the comments and let me know where you're watching from.